Silver prices have been on a roller coaster ride over the past month, but this week in particular is very important. We are about to cover an article titled "A Big Week for Silver Investors is Here, and This is Why." You do not want to miss this video as it goes over why the market will have to decide the coming days which path it will choose. This week's specials for Miles Franklin are 1 ounce 2023 silver Krugerrands only $3.10 over spot, along with the beautiful 1 ounce gold Australian backdated kangaroos for only $59 over spot. We have the lowest competitive pricing, weekly discounts, personal service by yours truly, one of, if not the most reputable, trusted company in the United States, and we have the largest inventory of precious metals I've personally ever seen. I'm truly honored to be able to offer my subscribers a cheap and safe way to purchase precious metals. Once again, that's Slayer at milesfranklin.com. Now let's jump into the video. Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have to remind you this is your last chance to enter my silver giveaway because I am skydiving in 2 days announcing the winner. So link is in the description or the pinned comment. May the luckiest 2 stackers win. What's happening this week that's so important for silver? Let's talk about it. This article came out today from investinghaven.com titled "A Big Week for Silver Investors is Here, and This is Why." This current week will be an important one as we expect price action will determine the short to medium term path of silver's price. According to our analysis, this current week will be decisive as price action during the week will determine whether silver will resolve higher this summer or whether the market will offer one last buy the dip opportunity. While we tend to end up forecasting in most of our articles, we will not do so in this article. Please read our 2024 silver forecast. Rather, we'll read the timeline and the price axis, both combined, and overlay it with some leading indicator information. I like that, right? You see so many forecasts, but let's just get to the meat and potatoes of what's actually happening and what's affecting the price. Silver timeline readings. As said in the past, 99% of analysts are focused on one and only one axis on the chart, which is price. Our thesis is that those analysts miss 50% of the information provided by the chart. The silver chart is no exception. We leverage timeline and price information both, and that is so important. So many people just look at one thing or the other, but to get the best idea of what silver is going to do, you have to incorporate what's happening in the economy. I get so many people that ask me what silver's doing right now, why it's doing it, what it's about to do, and it's like, well, I don't have a crystal ball and I don't have a time machine to fast forward till Wednesday to see what's going to happen at the Fed policy meeting, right? This is on Wednesday. That's going to determine what silver's going to do. So we have to let these things play out. A lot of people only look at one thing, which is the charts, or they only look at the other. But if you are able to incorporate both, then you get a better idea because they are both affecting the price. You can get an idea of the meat and potatoes, which is, the numbers. You can just crunch the numbers all day long. But if you're not incorporating these other outside factors, then you're always missing a big piece of the puzzle. So I'm glad that they mentioned that, right? So pay attention on Wednesday because silver is going to dramatically move from the speculation leading up to Wednesday of what people are assuming or trying to predict they're going to do or what is going to be said. And then after it's said, then the markets will react and correct to whatever those numbers are. And a lot of times those numbers aren't even correct. They're just saying we will try to hit XYZ by a certain time frame. So those aren't even correct either. It's all based off speculation, which should be left for things that are just a number on a screen. When you're talking about something like precious metals, that should be based off supply and demand, the tangible, the physical metal that comes out of the ground. It's in a sticky situation. That's why I always say I hate that S word. Regardless, though, that's how the markets work right now. So let's keep moving on. So we have a giant reversal, which is completed since early April. Number 2, this reversal connects the highs of February 21 with the lows of September 22 in a period of 414 days. Furthermore, after exactly 414 days, the same price point was touched. Number 3, from highs to lows back in highs twice in 414 days. This symmetric setup is important as it suggests a new structure started in April of 2024. the timeline of the next chart says it all. So here's their price analysis. Now, the beauty of time plus price analysis is that it works like a puzzle. You can retrieve high confidence level insights from either time or price or both. You know what is obvious? You know what is unknown? You can identify exact conditions to understand outcomes. We can apply the above general rule to the silver timeline readings. We see two outcomes for silver's price. One, either a multi-month reversal, maybe 50% of 414 days to create a handle and end up with a cup and handle situation, or two, a bullish ABCD pattern, which will push silver into our long-standing first bullish target of $34.70 by summer of 24. Here's the important part. The market will have to decide the coming days which path it will choose. So they're saying the next couple of days is massive for silver. Now, of course, the thing that nobody really thinks about is that there's so many more unknown variables that are going to be occurring over the next couple months as well. It's like if we could pause time and just have things play out as everything we know is going to happen, then sure, this would be a lot more accurate. But next week, something crazy could happen with China or Russia or Iran, and that's going to flip everything on its head. We are living in crazy times, so expect crazy things to happen, so expect crazier prices. We have no idea what Iran's going to do. We have no idea if things are going to escalate or de-escalate, or what's going to happen with the BRICS, or who's going to win the election and how that's going to affect everything. There's so many unknown variables, but I can guarantee one thing: every single outcome points towards higher precious metals prices, as things are only escalating. Things aren't de-escalating, right? So here are leading indicators. If anything, leading indicators help us tremendously understand which path is most likely. Okay. So in our latest gold and silver market report, we analyzed silver's leading indicators. The conclusion was clear. You may want to read the detailed insights we shared with our premium members. Okay, who cares? Whatever. While we analyzed many leading indicators, the one that stands out and is very easy to track is the dollar. The bullish reversal shown on its chart says it all. A move higher in the coming weeks or week will lead to a breakout. This, if materialized, will affect precious metals. And of course, it's going to affect it either positively or negatively regarding what the dollar does. If the dollar index is higher, gold and silver goes lower, vice versa. So our viewpoint, any price decline in precious metals will offer an amazing buy the dip opportunity later in 2024, and it definitely would. If you think that $27, $28 silver is pricey, then I don't know what to tell you. That's insane to think at when you look at how valuable silver actually is for what it's used for and what it's worth. And they say it right here, right? Those who missed the nice uptrend in gold and silver in recent months may have one or more, maybe last time to join the bull run. We strongly recommend, okay, it's a good point though. Like if silver's comfortably sitting at $27 nowadays, and that's like a bottom, that's massive. Because usually our bottoms are around $22 to $23, even when it did jump up to like $29 in early February 21 during the Wall Street silver movement. You know, even when it does jump up to these highs, it always crashes way, much lower than where we're sitting at now. So it seems like prices have stabilized at much higher prices, which means it's also closer to breaking above the $30 wall, which when that happens will shoot the market into another, situation that we haven't seen since $50 silver last time. So it's important to take note of. So let's go over to this article that came out today from FX Street. Here is silver falls to 3-week low near $26.70 with eyes on the Fed policy meeting. So yeah, we got to see what's going to happen on Wednesday. Silver price tumbles $26.70 as U.S. yields rise ahead of Fed policy. The Fed is expected to keep interest rates steady with hawkish guidance. Investors should be prepared for high volatility this week as the U.S. NFP will follow the Fed's policy. So yeah, there's a lot of different things playing out that's going to affect the price of silver. So if you see silver dropping all of a sudden, for one thing, remember that that's because people are starting to get worried because, right before the meeting, that happens a lot. And then the meeting goes on and then it changes again. And so you're going to see a lot of spikes, a lot of volatility. And that's because silver is a very small market, much smaller than gold. That's also why silver is easier to manipulate. So investors should be prepared for a high volatility week. What does that mean? Don't be emotionally invested. Remember how I said silver's price is like a roller coaster? If your emotions are along for that roller coaster ride along with the price, you're going to drive yourself insane, and it's not even worth it. You have to be able to detach yourself from the price and look at things realistically from a bigger perspective as why would I care if silver goes to $26.70 when I'm not selling it right now? So why would it matter to me? We know it's going to go back up to 28. We know it's going to go past 30. We know that. So why would it affect me? If anything, it should be making me happier because now I can get in again for maybe a last time, a cheap price, maybe for the last time. Who knows if this will be the last time we ever see $26, $27, $28 silver before it breaks above 30 and then it never goes back. Who knows, right? And if that were ever to occur, right now is the most likely, and I'm not saying that from an opinionated perspective, I'm just saying literally like this, everything happening right now, not even just on the charts, but in the economy as well, this would be the most likely time for that to occur, literally, just given everything that's happening and the information in front of our faces. So you just gotta remember that. Now, silver drops near 3 weeks low. We have the policy meeting announcement on Wednesday, so remember to stay tuned because I'll cover that. 10-year U.S. Treasury yields rise 4.63% on expectations that the Fed will maintain a hawkish narrative. Higher yields on interest rate or interest-bearing assets increase the opportunity cost of holding investments in non-yielding assets such as silver. Then the CME FedWatch tool shows that interest rates will remain unchanged in the range of 5.25 to 5.5%. Therefore, investors will keenly focus on the Fed's guidance on interest rates. The Fed is expected to support keeping interest rates at restrictive levels for a longer period until it gets evidence that inflation will come down to the 2% target. Investors will also watch whether the Fed remains committed to its 3-year rate cut projections this year. Doubts over the Fed's 3-year rate cut projections that were shown in March's dot plot have emerged due to United States inflation remaining stubbornly higher in the first quarter. And that's another thing. Remember when they mentioned this 3-year rate cut, situation? I remember covering that when they mentioned that, and I said, and now I'm looking like I was right, I said, everyone is right now going off of those numbers as if it's going to happen. But in the next 3 years, do you think that plan is going to occur? No. But people are investing and making decisions off of that set in stone that will happen. But it's not. That's an assumption as well. So people are basing assumptions, off of speculation, off of predictions, and it's all based off of this non-existent futuristic plan that never actually occurs or follows through. It's insane. Like, people are leading up, speculating to Wednesday of what they're going to say. And then even after Wednesday, what they say is still just a guess. It's a guesstimate. It's so insane to me that this is how prices are moved nowadays. That's the reality we live in. But I don't think that will exist forever. But right now, that is where we're at. The fundamentals will start to affect prices more than this stuff, though, and in my opinion. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought it was educational, informational, or entertaining, make sure to like the video. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. What do you think silver is going to be at by the end of the week? I mean, remember, we don't know what's going to happen, so I guess that really does play a huge role. And also remember to subscribe and enter my giveaway if you guys wanted to purchase gold, silver, platinum, palladium, Slayer, Miles Franklin. I will hook you guys up. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys later today. Peace.